Yo, what's shaking kitty cats? Hope you're all doing well out there. It's Monday. Made it through another weekend. Hope you guys came out the other side feeling inspired, ready to make the magic happen, all that good stuff. Who's here? Saffron's here. You were first. Nano! 29 months, homie. I missed the gazelle leap, but I do appreciate it. Do appreciate you, homie. Nano's asking, so Saf, when can I buy your new track on the new Borderlands soundtrack? Saf, are you telling me that if you had the chance to work on some music for Borderlands, that you wouldn't do it? Something tells me you'd make something pretty cool for that. Give that to someone who actually wants it. Well, there you go. Man, I have so much stuff. So much stuff cooking right now. I'm gonna plug in a hard drive really quick here. Not your type of game. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, if you're making stuff that you're not really feeling, then yeah. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch of other stuff that needs to be wrapped up, but I think I just need to kind of like unplug and go brainless for a little bit and make some risers, or at least a whole bunch of new source sounds to kind of base the next release off of. So I think that's what we're going to do. It'll be kind of a smattering of different styles, so we'll be able to play freely. Well, I've got a hard stop today. I've got a session that starts at 1 my time, so stop just a few minutes early. I think that's all I got. Oh, man. Paul. Yeah. If you were offered Bioshock or System Shock, then yeah, you'd be down. I wish I could remember with greater specificity some of the sounds that I delivered for that. I want to go back and play that whole franchise. So, like I was saying, into some risers? Yeah, I think so. That's going to be a tough one to pull off, Ben. Because I think Andremia pulled the plug entirely, so I don't think it's going to happen on his end anyway. All right, what should we cook in today? Should we make stuff in today? Gonna work in Serum for at least part of this. That's all I know. Maybe that's what our time together will be this morning. Working in Serum. All right, let's quit out of these instances of reactor, and we will get our fader up to 0 here. Get out of this little loop. All right, so gonna make some stuff. Let's solo this guy here. That is low. Beautiful. Beautiful. Hey, Jackball. Welcome in. Happy Monday to you. Thank you. It's somebody in the community made this, and I don't know if he's ever going to circle back and finish it. There are a couple little elements that were not complete, but I think the idea was once he had them complete, people could download this. So, crossing fingers for that to happen. Oh, Paul, yeah. Old retired robot now, huh? DJ Empirical. What's up, dude? That low note was the exact bass at the intro to KMFDM's Megalomaniac. Oh, man. Look at that. Serendipity to start the show. All right, well, happy Monday, everybody. Yeah, I think I'm going to start in Serum and see where it goes. I'm mostly going to stay heads down and just see how productive I can be. I think I've been staring way too much at like text and stuff on screens for the past several days, so I just need to get lost in some sound for a bit. What are you working on this week, Stephen? Oh man, this DJ Drop Curbs, this little bouncy Kirby emote. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. All right, so where shall we start? Let's start with maybe a little FM something, shall we? How about we go? How about we split it down the middle? We'll start with a basic sine wave, but we're going to put some of my weird little wave tables in there. How about a fluffer nutter first here? All right, we're going to take an FM first. And let's start with a little LFO control on this guy here. Trigger that. Yeah, let's bring this envelope style up, say 2 bars. It's a bit more linear. We'll work on this like a half bar step, and then we'll slow it down to about 2 bars. Just going to put a little saturation on the back end of the sound so we can hear it just a little bit better while we're working. All right, let's get a little pitch information on this guy here. I don't think we're going to be able to use the same controller, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky here. Yeah. DJ saying this week I want to rap a tune or two, get into more video editing for Travis. Nice, nice. How are things going over there, by the way? Doorbells and tines. Oh my goodness. Oh, nice, nice. Well, have a good one, dude. Always good seeing you. I bet it's super cute up high. Let's turn this way down and listen to it. Yeah, it's like waiting to be a laser shooter up there. Goodness. Sine waves, yeah. It's a funky sound. That's a funky sound. There's something in there. We can play around and find the right wavetables to make that one really work. Let's save this thing. Make a little folder of potential here. Where do we put this one? This one's going to be in. It's into the Ghost Hack sandbox. And we'll just say risers in general. And then we'll call this one bonk. All right. Start with something noise-based this time. Get rid of this oscillator first. Find the noise we want. All right, we're going to start with that. And we're going to layer in. Let's see here. All right, let's put in a secondary wavetable here. Filter action here. All right, let's save this one. We're going to put it into that same directory, and we'll just call this one wobble for now. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. Signs. So freaking Fourier. So Fourier. Oh, wow. How about that? Paul, that's an awesome moment right there. Paul saying, finally got to celebrate Christmas with my brother and his fams. Gave my 12-year-old nephew my Zoom RT234 rhythm track drum machine. Almost worthless on reverb, but his eyes. Oh, I bet. Talk about a treasure. Also gave him a set of headphones. That's good. Maybe for his birthday, I'll get him a power brick for it. A mess head. Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty great. Pretty great. All right, let's make another one. Let's make another one. Initialize. Hmm. I think I want to record some audio. That's what I want to do next. Let's do that. Let's find my mind is kind of split between strings and maybe some vocally type stuff. Let's go see what we can find inside a Kontakt really quick. And we'll take it from there. And then after we bounce some of that stuff, we'll come back to some of the synthesis stuff and we'll start engineering some patches that fit the new elements a little. And we'll start morphing between the two. Make some nice hybrid risers out of these. All right, so I'm going to go to Kontakt, which I really need to rebuild my whole plugin library over here. Oh, yeah. We've not played with the ashlight in great abundance when it comes to riser material here on stream, but it is it's kind of a treasure trove of sorts. Because we can get into these uh, I guess kind of in between states with both timber and texture, and I think that um, I don't know. To me, everything is timbre and tension when it comes to risers, personally. So and shape, of course. But this gives it these kind of elusive elements that we can kind of layer in unique ways. That is how it starts. You're right, Paul. You're definitely already a heavy influence, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to um, let's see here. Oh, that's great. These little booms in here. That's pretty fantastic. So, what if we took this kind of a thing, right? And we get away from the boom and get something a bit more sustained. We can probably work with something like that. Let's get rid of this one. Maybe like a little more peaceful. Okay. Let's see what we can get away with here. Let's record a note. All right, we'll say that's good. We're just going to take that note. We're going to keep reusing that for a bit. A little loop around this. And we're going to audition some new stuff in here. Kind of experimenting with a little pitch bend action here in the background. So what can we do in regards to this one parameter? I'm really unsure about this question. And if we have the ability to go back here. Volume cut off. Okay, so I don't actually. see a specific controller for it so we can control it however we like, right? All right, so let's just get into our MIDI automation down here really quick. Let's just see where this goes. Ooh. Ooh, Paul says, wish I could share multi-channel audio tracks with you. Crazy patching with the Arturia Augmented Collection resulted in an 8-channel mix file. Since I can send any output to any speaker, those sample-based collections take off. Put LFO on their bid morph knob and the vision start. Nice. Nice. All right, let's get back into our sounds here. See if I can find a better match. Ceramics here. Hmm. Hmm. All right, I guess I should probably make this an even 8 bars if I'm going to play with this rhythmically for a minute. Oof. Right? Just oof. Oof. That is pretty cool. That one does sound pretty cool. All right, let's save this project so we have something to work on. Stick this into risers. I think this is volume 2. And we'll just call this day 1. Or doi 1. Either way. Alright, now let's start printing stuff. Yo, Jackball. Right? Yeah, that one was worth printing. I think we're stretched out now. This one will sound really nice once we beef it up with some processing. How many have I made so far? That's the first one today that I've printed. I mean, we made a few patches earlier, which each one of those could spin out a few, but we're going to take off this ARP for a moment. Okay. And if I do want to go back into this, kind of blur this a little bit. And give ourselves kind of a longer attack so it blurs all of these. Now what does this sound like? Yeah, this is good. All right, let's get our X wrangled in here. Okay, I'm gonna grab that one too. Yeah, I'm not printing the stuff that I made in Serum yet, Paul. Mostly just kind of stretched out there for a minute, and then I will circle back and we'll dip back into synthesis and start designing some elements that kind of fit these nicely, and then we can layer these together so we can get a bit more of a hybrid feel across the board, I think. It'll play well with the cinematic theme. All right, and let's also just adjust our note here. That's fine. Cool. Now, with those same sounds, let's take this guy. Mhm. I envision a future of modulation that's so much more uh, straightforward in regards to all the XY grid-based stuff. Um, I'm just having a moment here. I'm thinking about the kind of future modulation engine of Audio Design Desk and how having a universal, uh, I guess, modulation clock, if you will, um, would be really, really beneficial for this type of work. All right, so I'm going to bring this up. Roundabouts there. Maybe this could be a nice static resting point here. Okay, I think I just need to record this in real time. So we're going to. Hey, Zendromix here. How you doing, homie? We are going to set our output here to a bus. And then we'll add an audio track. No, I don't actually need to do that. We're not going to have any input on that one except for our bus. Go. So now, and I can put this out a bit further. So now I can record and drive at the same time. Here we go. Something like that. Oh, I don't want that to be all mono. Why is that mono? All right. One more time. I think we got our flow down now. Good morning, Liv. How are you? Wait, that's not recording, is it? Why is that not recording? Try that again. There we go. Yeah. That was better. You're good. Good. Excellent. All right, now let's see how that one turned out. It was indeed stereo, which helps. All right, I think I'm satisfied with the workflow. Just need to dial in our effects processing and source sounds. Easy peasy. Paul, people turning on stuff around you in the house at the same time. All right, let's get same footprint, same design, just different sounds. I have no idea what's going to come out of this one. This is a really weird combination of a rubbed gong, some ghostly breath. We've got this really long pitch climb here. Let's take this way down. I actually really like the simplicity of this one. But we're going to take this and shift it up a couple. We're going to make this one quite a bit smaller. See how we feel about all of that. Tension. 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 The tension. That one needs to be half as long, and fine. That's a lot of tension. Might be worth printing as it is and then chopping it a couple different ways. Let's smooth that out a little bit. And our sample too. Hmm. You could be a star. We need something more impactful in this guy here. What can we do about that? Let's do 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Bring this back here. Not feeling those. We do step size of 16. And what if we go for more of like just a percussive kind of thing, maybe? Piano lid. No, not really. Bring some of this transient back, shall we? That's nice. I mean, talk about subtle. I actually kind of like this one. It's like breathing soup. No matter what anyone tells you about soup, it's not fun to breathe it. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Nice, Paul. Paul just upgraded all of his Arturia effects for 49 bucks. Nice. Gotta love that. Oh, no. The government's suing him. Oh, no. It kind of looked like Adobe was doing all these things right there for quite a while. What are they getting sued for? Okay, let's get the size of this down. Okay, that actually all feels pretty good. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's print that. Don't breathe soup. Dope found out. Oh, you had me at government sues monopolizing company. They lock into a yearly subscription, then charge you oodles of dollars. Oh yeah, I did see that. The cancellation fees. Oh yeah, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, it's not good. Ooh, gosh. Yeah, right? Man, change is a coming. Tell you what. As soon as people realize what AI is actually going to do for them in regards to like independence and stuff, man, there's going to be so much more competition on the block. So much more competition. It's so true. All right, I'm going to keep with the same structure again before we move away from this like 8-bar creep thing. I feel like we have kind of stumbled into a really cool little space here. Hmm. I mean, all of them do it. All of them do it, right? Like Amazon spends so much money and resources on making it hard to cancel things, return things, all sorts of stuff, right? Um, and they've tried to figure out different ways to combat this. I just feel like we're kind of getting to the point now where um, a lot of these companies have been so ingrained in like the day to day underpinnings of life. Like some of this stuff has become like downright infrastructure, right? Um, and I feel like they've been kind of banking on that for a really long time. Like, yeah, well, what are they going to do about it once we get to the certain point? Like, we can't ever be beaten once we're at that point. So, why don't the people just make the change and like just tax the hell out of them? You know what I mean? I still think that there is this silver lining dangling right in front of us that is all of the CEOs and all of their huge multi-trillion dollar bonuses when all added up. Like those could all just be redistributed so easily by a little chatbot. Lost your job and suddenly got no monies to pay your overlord dope? We'll show you what it means to have no monies. Pay $1 million more for being poor. Tax them. That's the way. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like if you could just take, yeah, just the top few companies and tax them differently and take away all the opportunities um, to get out of those taxes, which is the large majority of the money circulating. Um, it would be a very eye-opening experience, like quite literally in one day. Like the idea, the concept of poverty driven by limited money or access to money and resources would disappear. Like there would still be the amount of time that it takes to bring about all that change, but it could happen pretty quickly when you have trillions of dollars flowing through a system. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, Liv. I think you're right, but I think it's both sides. I think that um yeah, well, long story short, at the end of the day, there's all of this um just insane. It's hard to even fathom how much money it is, but there's so much money that's just circulating amongst just a handful of folks, and these chatbots are doing way more than them. So I think that it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. But that's a pretty big thing when you can just look at the numbers and be like, man, look at that. It's pretty insane. It's pretty insane when you look at the actual numbers. It's right. It's just absolutely mind-meltingly big. Yeah, unbelievable. Kind of hurts the brain just thinking about it a little bit. This one's got a weird kind of ghostly appeal to it too. Yeah, it'd be really interesting, wouldn't it, to like live on a stream, just like start breaking down what the duties are of very specific CEOs, and right, keep the number up on the screen of like what their annual bonus is, right, and just how easy it would be for a bot to accomplish all of those tasks in a few seconds for the year, and the impact that that then has upon the company, just the company alone, just that one corporation, just that one division, probably, or that one region, is a difference of hundreds of millions of dollars in just that one little switch. And now, if you think about how many rich and powerful uh, people there are in those types of positions, where there are multiple departments reporting basically data that can be analyzed and interpolated in different ways. Um, Basically, the CEO is there to parse the information and make educated decisions about what can be done to further streamline or benefit the business. The problem is that that comes at this huge cost because of status quo, because of this culture, the CEO culture in our society that says um, we are basically beholden to these people because they went to these classrooms and got a piece of paper and they now make the decisions that affect the business, which reports to this board of investors. And the board of investors is really only interested in their investments, right? The return on their investments. So if you really stop and think about this, really stop and think about this, how long are the investors going to tolerate having a middleman, a middle person, that costs them hundreds of millions of dollars in each one of these operations? Because Titans don't deal in one operation, right? They see an opportunity and they exploit it however many times and however many ways they can, right? So this one thing playing out in this one boardroom needs to be extrapolated millions of times, right? At first, hundreds of times. You hit up the first ones, the biggest ones first. But if you really stop and think about it, if there was just like a goodbye CEO day or whatever, right? And you have these different thresholds of where and when this would happen. You could literally just redistribute hundreds of billions of dollars a day. It's just, it's just wow. Syndremic, we've done something similar. Syndremic is saying Butterfly, a social network that anyone can join. The idea is to create your own AI and then let it communicate with others. Um, yeah, the I think personal co-pilots is just like a really, or like a personal pal, is really where all of it goes. Why do you need more than one, right? And the more integrated uh, it becomes with you and like what you're aiming for, then the that's great. Less complexity all the way around. But yeah, I don't think the investors are going to stand for that level of inefficiency much longer. And especially once the average person starts to have their eyes open in regards to what the software actually does, like in all these different models. Because it's basically just doing the same stuff that people do, just faster. It's just looking up information and reporting it back. So um, yeah, someone please explain why we can't just have this switch flipped. Seriously. I've been involved in a lot of different industries at a lot of different levels of executive and senior management, and I'm not really seeing a reason to keep the BS going. Syndromic, the idea is that um, we can start to communicate with our tools and the things around us instead of just using the tools and the things around us. And then it's hard to kind of wrap your mind around when you're not actually doing it. But as soon as you start to engage with it on these levels, everything starts to change quite a bit. Like you could not want to read that instruction manual. Instead, you can start speaking to the instruction manual. Like, why do I need to do it this way? And I can just explain it to you and just be like, oh, right, got it. Now I've had this big epiphany and it unlocks this understanding mechanically of how this certain type of thing works. And now I can apply it to all these other things. And you take that and you times it like by a million because there's all these little things that we just don't know. We don't realize that we don't know. And we don't have the ability for someone across from us to just instantly and very succinctly explain or show or whatever in a way that that's now done. Like that whole transaction just took place. Like it makes you feel like we've been stuck for a really long time um, around things that are so human. Like we're so caught up in all these weird little things. It's so complex. There's so many different layers of everything. The AI stuff is it kind of shines a light on just how mundane and repetitive a lot of little things are. Yeah, yeah. Like for instance, right now I'm building a list of schools to contact, right? But building a list of schools to contact is actually a pretty big thing. You have to know like what size the school is and what programs they offer and how to contact someone in what department and what building and all of this stuff, right? And then you need to organize these things by regions and stuff. So like that's a lot of work. So to build like a global sales territory management system, right, with contacts built into your book of business and everything, it takes years to actually compile all of that in some actionable way. So historically, we've done what we do in our linear analog minds, right? We start with A and we go to B, or we start here on this block and we walk to the next block over, or whatever. And it's just this very linear thing. And I can now just like ask something with more omnipotent access to just like correlate and contextualize a bunch of this stuff in a way that I can easily map out territories and prioritize things. And it just goes so deep. There's so many levels. It's not just a creative thing. It's an everything thing. What I keep um, going back to for people that are having a really hard time. I grew up with tape and 8-track and reel to reel and VHS, and right. And so when the CD came along, like the 8-track was great because you could punch through the four main programs and jump ahead. But until you really got the CD, there was no way to say, I mean, except for vinyl, there's no way to say that I want to go to exactly this spot in something, right? You could like just skip right to it, repeat it all very quickly. And it made it so it was harder to deal with tape. We could put a whole bunch of CDs into a compact little uh, container of some kind and take them with us, and we could have just days and days of listening right there. And tapes, we had to take stacks of containers, and they would break. And on road trips, they get eaten inside the tape player, and it sucked. And so anyway, um, it's a really it's just a huge leap forward for us to be able to just go to a very specific point in that song or whatever. And this is kind of the same, except for we can look at huge amounts of data or sounds or whatever it is, ideas, and quickly find the thing that we need to, which is just so great because it's gotten harder and harder and harder as we've accumulated more and more. Goodbye, CEO. Paul says in a corporate structure, staff are the folk who keep the BS machine running. Management's job is to make sure there's enough staff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then a lot of people don't realize that that actually is the role that they're playing, and that in turn kind of fuels this idea that they're powerless or that there's this status quo that they can't break or whatever. It's quite the conundrum. What's the most important thing in order to not suck ass at vocal mixing? Mm. Mm. What's up, something good? How you doing, homie? Okay, I think there's a few things. One is having good reference material because you need to not buy into your own BS as you're mixing your vocals, especially if you're unsure what you're doing at first. So referencing other material is key. Um, Two is oftentimes less is more. So if you feel like you've done a lot or like you're looking at an EQ and it's got a whole bunch of changes in it, it's probably not right. It's probably going to be a little bit more simple than that. The other thing is that if you're starting with something subpar, it's always going to be a struggle. So the better the source material, obviously, the easier your job is going to be. Um, but reference material will be so insightful, right? Because you can compare and contrast what you're hearing, and you'll be able to put your own words and feelings into the equation. So Andromic says, but as a sound designer, how do you feel about UDO and the likes, where you can pretty much make a finished song or create sound effects, etc.? Yeah. Um, yeah. So I think there's a few things here. I think that the future of all media, not just sound, I think all media is going to be um, one, a little less scary than everyone is thinking right now. Uh, Two, uh, it's going to be like arriving in America or the UK after living in a place without any kind of like corporate capitalist driving force like in your society. It really would be, because think about this. You'd be coming from a place where, if you wanted coffee or tea or whatever, you went down the road to whoever did the coffee and tea in your area, right? Like everybody kind of has their own thing. And then you arrive here and you walk to the coffee and tea aisle and you're like, "Oh, well geez, what are these people fucking thinking? Like, do they really need all of this?" The people that have been living in this society are like, yeah, I kind of need this, right? Like I have a certain way of waking up and my taste buds are highly attuned to yada, yada, yada. It's kind of the same thing, right? Um, I think that ultimately there'll be, um, like once all the shiny, sparkly phase of things wears off, I think there'll be a lot more efficiency and a lot less waste, a lot less decisions being made in the kind of virtual world before being executed in the real world, and more people participating in uh, more things because they'll be less bogged down by the day to day grind of it all. And I think that that is a realistic future because of how money actually works in the world, and how rules, which are made by people with great intention, like everyone is fairly self-serving at their core, and this is a component that is missing in AI. Right? AI is trained to do something specific. Now, in these general models, it's to return information, right, and to arrive at the information that is factual and relevant. And um, this is why there's so much focus on like providing sources. Like, this is where I found my information. You can go double check it. AI makes mistakes. Please check these sources. And as we grow in this linear upbringing of AI, you'll see less and less and less of that kind of onboarding kind of guardrails, because we'll be able to get it closer and closer to real time information. Right now, AI models don't have access to real time information. Um, but when you train your own, it can, and it does. And that's where things can be really beneficial, just really, really beneficial. And I think that more people taking part in that on a daily basis, whether it's just like, hey, what's the best plan of attack for this really busy day, right? Your AI assistant will be able to incorporate things like traffic and weather and maybe appointments that you've forgotten about or whatever it is, right? Or like which store is going to be the easiest one to stop at on the way to pick up the freaking goggles that you forgot for your kids' swim lessons or whatever it is. There's just going to be so many tiny little things. And the more that people interact on a daily basis with those little parts of it, I think the fear factor comes down and the realization arrives that it's hard it's hard to imagine the future without the fear, right? Like if you look at the definition of anxiety, right? It's about the feelings about the stuff, the uncertain stuff that hasn't happened yet, right? Ugh, that's really all this is. We've never been able to control it before. Can't control it now. We'll get there. Liv says, write a book, write a book, write a book. Something good says, you're so old. Oh, yeah. Syndromic says also some are already grappling with the idea of having gone through all of humanity's content, the internet, and now it's running out of things to assimilate. People used to pay their bills with their websites and content. Now increasingly people are just asking ChatGPT rather than searching or visiting websites, etc. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of a good thing, right? If you stop and think about, like, why would we want to stick with the Google search results? If you really stop and think about it, we're comfortable with them, sure. But think about this. They control what I have to do every day to get information out to people that want the information that I have. They control all of that. I have to put stuff online in a very, very specific way. The same thing with the social platforms, right? If you post, it goes into the ethers, blah, blah, blah. If you post and you put money behind it, people see it and things start to happen. It's kind of the same thing with Google. You have to pay and you have to play in this very specific way. And it's all about control. Everything routes through them. They are the internet. So my question would be, is that a good thing? Is AI just going to become our societal mom? It could be. Yeah, Iron Imp, I think that people will realize that appreciating what they make is the reward when they don't have to scrounge so much every day. You know? There's such a huge disconnect between the folks with and the folks without. Something good says, I've already put a bunch of presets of random ass waves plugins, so probably less of that, right? In regards to the vocal mixing. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty interesting just how much the conversation gets taken over by AI each time it comes up, regardless of who's talking about it. So everyone's obviously feeling tons and tons of stuff about it. And Syndremic asking like why? Like what is the actual point? Yeah, I think that you know, when someone that when someone without arrives in a big bright ass grocery store in America and sees what the laundry detergent aisle looks like, knowing that water will rinse the dust out of your shirt. I think that there's a lot of things that we could be asking, should we, or is it really necessary, or whatever. I think that that's probably something that AI could probably help with more than humans sitting in a room together, because unfortunately, there's always going to be enough people that can agree um, about what the like quote unquote right thing to do is to move forward to keep kind of balance in place or whatever. But that still doesn't account for the other people that still exist in the equations that don't want to prioritize things that way or whatever, for whatever reason. Yeah. I think that some of that stuff just needs to be dealt with more logically. Yeah, right. Syndromic says, I'm all for technology, but I'm also a creator, and this is scary. Yeah, yeah. Yes, exactly. And Iron Imp is making a good point about folks like Newtone and stuff, you know, with all this neural network transfer stuff. It's great. It's going to take a while. Um, you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing is that every single time there's a new sample library or a new effects plugin or something that hits the scene, if you guys pay close attention to the upload queues, you'll see that sound packs and music for general listening pleasure, and especially sound and music for screen, they all have a little moment with that tool. And you'll hear it every single time Native Instruments comes out with a tool. Do you know why, after all these years, they can still sell one of those tools for a few to several $100s, just one off, before it gets into the complete bundle? It's because people in the production world, people actually being paid for what they do and putting stuff into current stuff on screen, that's the current sound. And you chase the current sound. It's the newest thing. So same thing with all the AI tools and everything and the AI capabilities. And, like I was saying before, AI is not plugged into real time right now on these big models. If you want it real time, you build your own personal model, right? There are ways always to stay on the curve or ahead of the curve. Iron Imp says, I don't recall a time I've not been scared. It's an interesting time to live. Yeah. Yeah. I love the real time timbre shaping too. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, really, really, really interesting stuff. I think that there is a fear in a lot of creators that is, what about me? And it's a very valid and fair thing. And it's also kind of humbling and unsettling, perhaps, to be reminded that even though you are a creator, right? Anybody can be, right? And if everybody kind of woke up to that fact, then what would happen? Right? Like we heard a lot of people saying a lot of awful things when MIDI started and when everybody started getting studios on their laptops and not knowing how to use the stuff right. You know what I mean? It's the end. It's the end. All the dubsteppers are coming to take our world and they're going to ruin it by pursuing the loudness wars and making grotesque sounds and people are scared of lots of things. Whatever. We'll adapt. We'll adapt. We can be scared for a while. We were making some sounds at one point, right? Did I do this one? Oh, that was a weird one. What is this one? That is this one. Okay. More violins and dubstep. Their cry. Damn dubsteppers. Right? Stone. About something with some texture. Let's get away from this. Right, Iron Imp? Hmm. Iron Imp is saying a funny anecdote. Our Tucker used to get tons of crap on old forums for making procedural music in Max MSP. Now that there's a human in the loop, people are warning to the idea of, you built this? Syndromic says, I use AI to chat or get ideas, but I don't use it to create my art and music. I feel like soon I might not have a choice. I'll need to keep up to people releasing 5 songs a day, and it won't just be tech bros. Some artists are, yeah, eyes on your own paper, sir. Eyes on your own paper. Right? It's hard. All of it's just hard. That's what we're learning. It's hard to be human. I'm going to hit play on this. And I'll be right back. Yeah, back. Huh. Iron Imp. You're awesome. Iron Imp is saying, off topic, but I really like you, OhmLab and chat. This is a special nook in the web. Syndromic says, same. I rarely interact or watch an entire stream, but I try to be here. Paul says, a special nook and dark recess behind the lost oscillator of our dreams. Iron Imp says, yeah, I go out of my way to catch it. Nice. Ah, Paul, good luck out there at the mailbox. Oh, man. Oh. Shall we do a couple more risers? I mean, we can keep talking about AI if you guys want to keep talking about AI. It's also so interesting to me, like the perception of all of this, like as it's unfolding. All that's maybe the most fascinating to me about all of it right now. Is just the perception of all of it. Like, you know, when I go away from you guys, I go back into the world of like helping Big build this new way of putting sound to picture and stuff. And well, part of me is, right? The other part is like doing stuff the old way, which is like continuing to deliver sounds to people so people can continue to put sounds to picture and put new sounds into their music, right? Or whatever. And people are still showing up and learning how to mix, and people are still showing up and learning how to make music, and people are still making movies and video games, and the beat goes on. There's a lot of chatter right now. So we all wait. Oh, thanks, Jack. Says I've only managed to catch a few of your streams, but it's always a treat here. Nice. Oh man, Iron Imp just said this out loud, saying, I'm looking forward to getting a Mac, then I can get ADD. Gosh, that sounds weird. Funny part is that I'd rather trust an AI over a human. Then again, I don't trust the humans that make the AI. See, that's why you make your own. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is like, now that the technology is here, it's like, oh man, you just make your own kid. You know what I mean? Like, you've built this own way of like thinking and operating in the world, and it's great. And Nobody else quite understands it fully. Now someone else can. It's great. It's great. Mm. You know, Zendremic, you're not alone. There's been a lot of studies done recently about this, like about even about like healthcare and stuff. Like people are honestly, they would rather bare their soul to an AI than a human because of all of the judgment and everything that's coming right back at them, right? All of the analyzing and judging and everything. Um, but also, like we've all been through enough with other humans that we know that we don't actually know what's going on inside there, and that there's like some other kind of agenda at play, um, oftentimes. So yeah, there's this. There's also while these studies are being done, they're asking people similar questions, like nature nurture kind of stuff, but also just like nature versus human type stuff. So it's like nature versus tech, nature versus human, nature versus nurture, that type of thing. So one of them is, would you rather be stuck in the woods alone at night with another human in the woods or a wild bear? And almost everyone is picking the bear. Right? It's like there's a fair bit of distrust like at the core, I think, with people and people that maybe we haven't really fully like acknowledged or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Robots and kittens, life is complete. I enjoy interacting with humans, but rarely do I trust humans. Yeah, bear. Yeah, I think everyone is kind of on the same page right now. Maybe it's because social media has just like put everyone else's thoughts and stuff like right into our sofa, basically, and we're like, wow, this is wow. The people really think this, and wow, yeah, they're all agreed with you with each other. Dang it! Oh man, yeah. What an interesting time to be alive, right? Yeah, my kid often asks me these really funny questions, and um, makes me laugh each time because I'm like, wow, we're really there, huh? We're actually having these conversations. Like he's fascinated by the concept of phones and like why did we even try to make phones? Why did anyone even use phones if all you could do was talk to it and you had to stand next to the wall that it was plugged into? And and we've been having that conversation for a while, right? And like, well, why didn't someone just put maps in it sooner? Or but the money thing just kills the entire conversation. It's just like, well, yeah, you have to pay to make the phone call. We still have to pay to make the phone call. We pay way more to make a phone call now than we ever did before, actually. And he thinks that's just so stupid. Like, why would people first invent something that only calls people? Like, you can't even play Plants vs. Zombies on it, right? And you have to be stuck to a wall, and you have to put money into it to do that. None of this is very acceptable to a 7 year old. We have a very different future ahead of us. Oh, Paul, glad you're back safely. Iron M says, funny you say that. I was messing around with AI Jesus, but I broke it off my first question. Can you explain examples of historic apocrypha? Which it should nail out the bat, but I think the search term didn't validate. But the bear will eat you. Bro, once I pull out some spices and cook, bro will treasure me for life, and so a new family is born. Oh man. Bears. Yeah. How much patience do bears have? Like, let's say they happen upon you and you're like, dude, okay, look, I understand. It smells really good. I'm cooking this curry, but it's just started. And in 3 more hours, it's going to be incredible. But if you eat me now, it's going to be disappointing. Like, does the bear understand that if they wait, there's going to be a bigger reward? And then if they don't eat you, they can get more curry in the future? They go to humans for their treats, not to eat the humans. The humans just get in the way. The humans are the ones that can actually open the peanut butter jar. That's why we're kept around. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, I should probably make a couple more sounds here. But if you can't open that one jar, that's when you lose an arm. They're like, the next time, you won't be so lucky. When bears start eating curry, the woods will be slippery. Oh. Oh, hey, look at this. Iron Imp giving my buddy Donnie a shout out. Shout out to Salamander Anagram. Donnie Data. Learned so much from him, yet I had to know more than just reactor, and that's led into a deep dive of computer science and low-level silliness. Dude, seriously. You know what's really funny is when I decided to go all in with Steve and actually start building ADSR, because we didn't realize that's what we were building at the time. I moved out to Thailand, live on the cheap, travel around with the laptop um, while building it, and we get it to the point where it's growing quickly. We got to get more people involved now. Some folks that can make some in-depth tutorials for more tools than what we've been doing. And so it's Reactor. So start reaching out and looking for folks that are good with Reactor. And of course, Salamander Anagram is like the obvious choice here. And at this point, I have moved back from Thailand. I'm back stateside. Having conversations with him. He's on board. It's great. Everything's going great. And then we're having this conversation, and it turns out that he lives just a few doors down from the house that I was living in when I moved to Thailand. So I moved back to the United States just to end up working with this guy who's just a few blocks down. So after knowing that for a little bit, finally get the chance to meet up with him. And of course, we're like fast friends, whatever. But it turns out that this cat that was always following me, like back to my house, eating treats for me constantly all the time when I was living in the neighborhood, was his cat. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. We didn't actually know each other prior to this. It was really great. Oh, he's got you kicking on anti-derivative and anti-aliasing. Nice. He's a good guy. Good guy. Good people over there. Man. He's a good guy. One of those really, really wonderful humans. And a lovely mind to boot. Yeah, truly. Truly. Just a really nice, kind soul more than anything. All right, let's do another one of these, and then I should probably wrap things up. I got a session here in a bit. Let's make one more of these. Let's go in a different direction though. You haven't lost audio. I'm just dialing some stuff in here, folks. Sorry for the silence. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm gonna just beef up this range just a little bit. It's got a lot of tension. That's pretty tasty. All right, we'll do it. We'll print that one. It's a good one to end on. All right, let's go see who's streaming. How many of you are here? We can go drop off a little short bus somewhere. Where are we going? Where are we going? We'll be back to normal length stream on Wednesday. I just got a session today. I'm going to drop you guys off over at Shoe's house. Enjoy the funky grooves. Stay inspired. I'll see you guys in 2 days. And I hope you guys make something awesome over the next couple of days. Don't forget, Feedback Friday's coming. I'll see you guys on the flip. Peace out. Appreciate you. Bye.